If you love the idea of mindful eating and healthy living, join me, Izelle Hoffman, lifestyle chef, food editor, and author, as we explore ways of achieving health and balance. My name is Izelle Hoffman, and my guest for this week, the phenomenal lady. So excited to be talking to her, Naledi Mallela. She is 27 years old, born and raised in South Africa. Now, she's a YouTuber with over 145,000 subscribers. She's a media personality, digital creator, and a TV host for My Top 5 at Channel O. Now, this is also a very well-educated lady with a master's degree in marketing and management and an honors degree in business science. Naledi, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Izelle, on your show. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, and dying to share with listeners what make you famous in the food space. I mean, it's something I never thought of, and then I came across you and I was like, oh my gosh.
So I think what actually happened was that when COVID began, a lot of people started branching into the social media space, and a lot of us were lifestyle. But I found myself really enjoying these videos of people eating, the crunching sound, the it helped me sleep.
So food sounds.
Yes. And I started enjoying watching people eat, and I decided to get into it whilst telling stories, and that's when it kind of really took off. And people loved watching me eat, and they kept saying that every time you eat something, like for example chicken, I also want to eat chicken. So that's how it took off, and now I eat on camera for a living.
Well, they always say, you know, if you link your passion to your paycheck, you're never going to work a day in your life. And
that's true.
Clearly, you have hit the nail on the head.
No, definitely. I feel like ever since I've realized what I'm passionate about, and that's actually food, I enjoy doing what I do and releasing the content. And it also kind of creates a platform to, you know, have conversations that we don't talk about every day. And the older I've become, the more I realize how my eating has changed a lot. And I really want to branch out and try different types of food.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been an amazing experience, actually, an amazing journey.
Now let's just jump one step back. Now, mindful living. Now, Lady, in your world and what you get to do on the daily, which sounds like a whole lot of fun, what does that mean to you?
So I think mindful living to me, the older I've become, the more I realize how much I enjoy my time alone. So I like to do things that take my mind off the chaos of my career. So I love to go to the gym. I've recently joined a spinning class and I'm enjoying that so much, and spending time with my family, because another part of my career is that I hardly get to see them because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
So when I do, I get to just reconnect and be myself, and I don't have to be a TV personality. I'm just Naledi at home. So those are one of the things I enjoy. They bring me back to myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what mindful living means to me, to really just connect with what really grounds you and who you are, and remembering the core of who
you actually said a lot of very true things there. Now, first, just the fact that you are comfortable spending time alone. I think that's something we all need to get comfortable with doing, because you know, we are stuck with ourselves for the rest of our lives.
Right.
We only have one body and we need to live our whole life in it, so we might as well be taking care of it. So the fact that you said you're going to gym, you joined a spinning class, you are right up my alley. You're talking my language, girl. But I also think, you know, mindful living is how you spend your time. Do you spend it, you know, investing in yourself? Because time and health is the two things that money can't buy. Yes. And if you start investing time in your health, it's the best investment you will ever make.
I think that's how I enjoyed my interaction with you, because I had gotten to a point where I realized I wanted to change my eating, and I wanted to eat better, not necessarily for weight loss, but just to feel better. And it was just, I think it wasn't even a coincidence. It was fate that I met you. because when you told me about your cookbook, and I was like, this is perfect because this is right up my alley. So changing your lifestyle and eating for your better health is where I'm trying to go right now.
Oh,
for
well,
myself,
I think from my side, I'm going to have to share with listeners. So I met Naledi on a out drive to Broncos Braeside, right?
Yes,
it was for a car launch. And the conversation started because I had a box of almond milk with me. And Naledi was sitting next to me. She's like, this lady's ordering coffee with almond milk. And I then, that was just an immediate conversation starter. And then we realized, oh my gosh, we both have such a passion for food.
Yes.
And long story short, we are sitting here today recording this phenomenal episode.
And it's how crazy is it that you are on the healthy side and I am on the love fast food. My mukbang career is centered around eating fast food. So it's amazing how we met and how we really got along just off the conversation of food.
Now, I believe that self-care, self-love and being selfish is not the same thing. Now, your thoughts on that, and where do you see yourself as a blogger play a role in that space?
So self-care, self-love and selfish is not the same thing. You're totally right about that. And being a blogger in a space where we get scrutinized a lot, it's very important to take care of your mental health, yourself, and making sure that you protect yourself from the toxicity aspect of my career.
And there's a lot of that on social media.
There is. Social media, as great as it is, with all the opportunities it has, it also has a very negative and downside to it.
Well, you open yourself to criticism all the time.
All the time. And all those negative comments can have an impact on your mental well-being, and you find yourself being harder on yourself. And one of the things that I realized I was struggling with is people having conversations about my weight. It was difficult for me, and I had to take a step back and I had to remember that I am doing this for me and not for the judgment of others. So it's been a difficult journey. But I think the self-care aspect, when it came into play, that's when I started realizing that I am doing this for myself. And my job became easier and more bearable. So,
Now, I always say my cookbook called Mindful Eating is not a cookbook. It's a change your perception about food book. And I think we met at the right time because I'm trying, or I'm going to encourage you today, I'm not going to try, to change your perception about food. Now, I'm going to hand over my book to you and I want you to page through this recipe called Best Friends for Life. What would you say is your favorite ingredient listed in that chapter, Naledi, and why?
Okay, so just off looking at the first page, apple cider vinegar. And I think it's pretty obvious that apple cider vinegar plays a good part in terms of your digestive system and your tummy.
Okay.
And
that's an interesting one. I must be honest, not a lot of people would have selected apple cider vinegar as their first choice.
I know. And the thing is, when I saw it on your page, I was like, oh, wow, she probably also uses it for digestion, I hope. And then I think another one that I really love is garlic. I put garlic in everything that I eat.
Garlic is such a phenomenal anti-inflammatory. It's got so much healing benefits. So it also boosts the immune system. So you are on the right track, darling.
I just love the taste. I like the
flavor.
smell.
And the flavor.
Ooh, when you're just cooking your onions and your garlic, just that smell for me.
And how is your other half on this smell that you so much love?
No, all I know is that when I eat a lot of garlic, I can tell. My body can tell that, but I love garlic.
But he also eats garlic, right?
Yes,
because otherwise it might create a little bit of a problem.
He loves my cooking, and I add garlic all the time in everything that I cook, and I think I hide it really well because he hasn't complained as of yet.
I'm going to teach you my little trick. Now, parsley, especially fresh parsley, really helps you eliminate that garlic smell.
Oh, really?
So garlic and parsley really goes well in any case. So whenever I cook with garlic, I always love, obviously, making use of all different flavors like your herbs and your spice, but I always garnish with freshly chopped parsley. I'm quite a fan of the Italian one. I like it. It's mild and peppery, not too much.
Okay.
Not always the curly parsley, but yes, it's the one that looks a little bit like, a lot of people think it's coriander, but it's actually not. So have a look on the shelf. It's called Italian parsley. Now, I love garnishing with that whenever I cook with garlic. It really helps with the funny smells afterwards.
I'll definitely try that. Another one I'm seeing on your book is chickpeas.
Oh, and I love chickpeas.
There was a moment in my life where I wanted to go vegan.
Yeah.
And I told myself I'm going off meat for a week. And I kept trying to find a suitable alternative. And a friend of mine suggested chickpeas. I was having hummus. And I think I had hummus 3 times a day for, like for a week because I just loved the taste. And now chickpeas are a standard in my house.
Well, then I've got really good news for you. So majority of all my baked goods in this book, apart from my sweet potato chocolate brownies, are in fact made with chickpeas. So
Chickpeas?
You wash them, you drain them, you pulp them, and that's pretty much the base of the batter. From anything to chocolate cake, vanilla cake,
Chocolate cake?
all my muffin recipes. And there's also 4 different ways that you can roast and flavor them. From the sweet side of life, which is going to be your chocolatey cinnamon vibe, over to your garlic as well. And I love replacing cubed chicken or any form of small pieces of chicken in any recipe with chickpeas if you're trying to go the vegetarian or the vegan option.
Okay.
Now, of course, I love cooking with raw honey. So if you are vegan, of course, you're going to have to just replace that with either agave or maple syrup. But let's say you're going vegetarian. So there's a beautiful butternut Thai curry in my book that you can find. And I do say chicken or chickpeas.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to the bigger pieces of chicken, for people out there, just a quick tip, you can replace that with any cauliflower steak and it's going to give you the same result in the recipe.
Wow.
Yeah. And for red meat, if you're not too big on red meat, and we're going to talk about red meat just now, you can take pretty much any recipe in my book that has maybe got a red meat element in it, and you can make it vegetarian by replacing that with aubergine.
Wow, aubergine, the eggplant.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever tasted aubergine, but I've heard such good things about it. They were
You've
saying
never tasted aubergine?
at all.
You're coming to my house for dinner, like in tomorrow.
I think I have to because one of my
Yes.
other friends who is vegetarian says all the time the best thing to eat and get into is aubergine. And she
I
says it's
love
such a
aubergine.
versatile vegetable to
Yes.
use. But chickpeas, I'm quite shocked because I thought we use them for savory things only. I never imagined that we would use them
I'm
to make...
really going to change your perception of around food then. So maybe I can explain to you. So for me, I'm not a qualified chef. I'm 100% self-taught. I grew up on a farm. Dad's a farmer, mom's a landscaper, and my aunt used to be the moderator for home economics in Northwest. Always been surrounded by foodies and people that just loves cooking and everything. But I think when you go to, all your culinary schools, your chef schools, there's always a fixed sort of recipe, pun intended, to say, this is how you make certain things.
Yes.
I was born with congenital hip dysplasia. I've had 14 hip operations to date. So my conscious struggle with inflammation and pain has really been the core focus of changing the way I eat and look at ingredients. So I started putting all the good ingredients, the healing, anti-inflammatory ingredients on my kitchen table and then asked myself the question, what can I make with this today? And that's pretty much where the inspiration for every single recipe came from. There's a lot of health products out there that really is very bland and sort of gives people the wrong perception about eating healthy. Healing foods and ingredients. And, for me, it was like, you eat every day. It's something that you need to do every day because you need to nourish your body. So you might as well be enjoying that. So for me, it's not to say, okay, I need to heal my body and just, eat steamed stuff for the rest of my life. I was like, I'm going to eat good stuff. I'm going to enjoy what I'm eating because that is what mindful eating is all about. It's understanding the combination of ingredients either on your plate or in a recipe or in a, from an ingredient list point of view. Every single recipe I can explain to you exactly why I made use of a specific ingredient and what its benefit in that recipe is for your body.
I really love the fact that healthy food doesn't have to be bland, and there's so many recipes of like chocolate chip cookies, and you don't normally see that in a health book or in a healthy cookbook. You're constantly seeing making a salad or everything just kind of watered down. And I think that's the best part or the best element about your book is the fact that it's still got the feel good food, the food you actually want to eat.
At the end of the day, you can't function on an empty fuel tank. I mean, we met at a car event, so if there was no fuel in our vehicles, we would not have been able to get to Bronkhorstspruit to begin with.
Correct.
And the same sort of goes for your body. You know, we all need to function and be the best that we can possibly be every day, but that means we need to have fuel in the tank in order to do so.
Right.
So we might as well put good quality ingredients in our fuel tank, and that is for me what it's all about. You know, I don't count calories, I only make use of healthy healing elements, and your body does see that as medicine. When it comes to things like raw honey, I love small local businesses.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
there's so many good ingredients out there, and I always say know your source. If you can support a small business down the road, rather go and purchase that good quality honey from them than just a commercialized product off the shelf.
Right.
But enough about me. I'm dying to hear all about you and what you do. So just give us the whole splurb there. Where can we find you? Where can we have a look at what you're doing?
So I am a YouTuber, but it's known as a digital content creator. And the YouTube space is actually where you can find me, connect with me, and get to see more about my content in everyday life. And if you want to find me on other social media pages, I am on Instagram and on Twitter. And my handles are Naledi M Official. Just to be officially sure that it's me.
Tell us, like, how do you put an episode together? Do you just think, I feel like eating this today, and then you get hold of that, and then you switch on the camera, and there you go?
So just like you, just to add this part, I'm also self-taught. I taught myself how to get onto the YouTube space. But in a day, what normally happens is, what am I craving that day? So it's generally just off my feelings, my emotions, and I'll even say in my videos that today was such a long day, I was craving chicken. And I think that's how brands started reaching out to me and saying, wow, we see how when you start eating our chicken, everybody wants to eat our chicken. So could you please make more videos with our chicken? So yeah, it's just going with the flow, just what I feel like having that particular day, and then I shoot my video and then I upload it.
What I like about that is it's very authentic. It's very you. I mean, it's not staged. It's not planned. It's just like, I feel like eating chicken today, and that is what your day is then got planned for yourself.
That's the beauty of the YouTube space, the relatability and the authenticity. And it's one of the reasons I fell in love with that particular platform, because it gives you a reason to be yourself. It gives you the freedom to be yourself. And I think that's why people could relate to me, because if I'm having a bad day that day, I'll have a bad day. I say, oh my goodness, guys, I had a bad day. And everyone will be like, oh my goodness, we
can
get
relate.
It.
Yes. And because when you have a bad day, what do you crave? Are you a sweet or savory girl?
I'm a savory person, so I don't actually have much of a sweet tooth. I am more on the salty side of life.
So what is your comfort food like? You had a terrible day, it was load shedding, there was traffic everywhere, nothing worked, internet and emails and everything was off. What does Naledi crave?
Am I allowed to say the brand that I crave?
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Chicken Licken hot wings.
Is that just in a league of its own?
You know what? Chicken Licken is just my go-to, and I think it's probably because it's closest to my house. And when I've had a long day, I definitely don't want to hear from anyone. But if I'm having a bit of a better day, I'll always go for a chicken Caesar salad. I am obsessed with chicken Caesar salad.
So when Naledi is feeling good and she's having a good day, she tends to go to the healthier side of life.
Yes, I will always opt for a salad.
And when things is not going her way so well, that's when she's craving all the comfort and the spice.
Rom-com, a good glass of wine, and spicy food.
You know, let's talk about passion a little bit. You know, I love giving back, and I believe that you need to be the difference that you want to see in the world.
Yes.
I do see you pretty much on the same page as me with regards to that. What would you say is the key to happiness, and how does that link up with giving back?
So I was at an event yesterday. Well, it wasn't yesterday, actually, it was 2 days ago. And this lady was like, knowledge is great, but knowledge shared is power.
Oh, I love that.
And that's what I pride myself on, sharing knowledge with other people. Another aspect of my platform is I share my marketing background with school, getting my master's in business administration and realizing that I wanted to leave corporate and pursue the digital content creation space made me realize that I have a lot to share and teach people about becoming digital content creators in the space that we live in and how to navigate that. Also, I think going to schools and talking to younger students about being, when you go to school and what are the benefits of having an education, that has been the most gratifying experience. I think for me, knowing that I can give back, and the education aspect of it is something in my household we're very passionate about. So I am passionate about education. I'm passionate about educated women, men, and just, I don't know. I think the giving back of my marketing background is one of the best parts about me.
My dad always used to say when we were growing up, education is the one thing that no one can ever take away from you.
My dad always says that.
Snap on
Do
dad.
we have the same parents?
He always used to say that to encourage us when it was exams and things like that. And you do get encouraged, or discouraged actually, because there's so much to learn and to go through, and maybe the exam is tomorrow, and it's like, listen, you're investing time in yourself here because your education is the one thing that no one can ever take away from you. And think about it. A lot of people can sit in a class and not take anything in. And the person right next to him or her can also be sitting in that same class but take everything in. So that is, again, being mindful in the moment that you're in, and are you making the best of it?
Yes, that is so true. I think for me, when I went to school, I was also a bit of a, I don't want to go to school. And my dad would always say, your education, they cannot take away from you. And once I started pursuing this digital content creation, it was a form of entrepreneurship because I was pursuing what I could say is my own personal business. And my dad was like, your marketing background, looking back on it now, is the reason you can connect with an audience and market yourself.
100%.
Exactly. And it's amazing how it played out, because I did not think that I would end up using my degree in my passion.
But also, let's just talk about that for a second. Often people think if you study, let's say you study A, you can only go and do job A, B, and C. But you can take the knowledge that you have learned when you study degree A, and you can go and apply it to any and everything.
That's correct. And the thing is, everyone asked me, why did you do an MBA? Didn't you want to go into corporate? I did when I began. And obviously with the pandemic and forcing us to stay at home and find alternative methods of, entertainment, it then hit me at that point that I did not want to pursue corporate. Instead, I wanted to use my marketing background to teach others about the business aspect of digital content creation. And it's amazing how it turned out, because I did not think that I would be using my master's degree to be in the digital space. And I am.
Well, Naledi, I just really see you one of those people like myself, like the glass in life is always half. But it's for you to decide whether it's going to be half full or half empty. And I think when COVID hit, a lot of people started seeing it as being half empty, not realizing that it was the perfect opportunity to evolve into who you maybe were meant to be. I believe we all have a purpose in life. We all have a passion, and you need to link the two with each other, because that is who you are meant to be in this world, in this life.
Correct. If only I had known that COVID would have turned out to be one of the best moments in my life. And I know that it's the irony of saying something like that, because it was a horrible time. But for me, it helped me solidify what I wanted to do with my life. Because before COVID, I'm very embarrassed to say this, I was fired from my last job. I was not passionate about it. I would get to work late, and you could see that I didn't know where I was going.
The passion and the purpose was just not there. I have to get through the week. It's an 8 to 5, and I can't wait for the weekend situation.
Exactly. And I almost felt like I wasn't appreciating the fact that I even had a job, when a lot of people cannot get employment. So when COVID hit, it gave me a chance to sit by myself and ask myself, who is Naledi? Where is she going? Who is she going to become? I felt like I was in a quarter life crisis.
Oh, shame.
There's a mid at 50 and there's a quarter at 25 where you just don't know what your purpose is.
Yeah.
You've done everything you needed to do. You're an adult and you still feel like you don't know where your life is taking you. And I would communicate that on my YouTube to my audience the whole time. I would tell stories. I would find the joy even in my worst moment.
Yeah.
And little did I know that I was slowly creating a career path for myself.
Because here's the thing, a lot of people could relate to you. Like, they're like, oh my word, yes, I know exactly what Naledi is talking about. I
Yes.
feel exactly the same.
People would send me emails saying, you got me through the most difficult part of my life during COVID. I would just sit and watch your stories all day on YouTube. And some of those emails would make me cry because I would I didn't know that in doing something that I was just doing to get my mind off things,
Yeah.
I was helping someone out there who just needed a shoulder, someone to laugh with, some entertainment to get away from their reality. So that was the best part for me, knowing that I could just help someone in some small way, shape or form.
Well, there you have it. Naledi Mallela, at 27 years old, you are in fact the difference that you want to see in the world. Really hope that this is not the end of this relationship, and I hope we're going to see a lot more vibrant, colorful, chickpea kind of maybe baked goods on Naledi's platform. And yes, we're going to be rooting for you, vouching for you, keep supporting you, and keep being this beautiful, vibrant young woman that you are.
Thank you so much. And if I could just ask you, Izelle, please could you bake me some chickpea chopped chip blondies so that I can have them on my channel?
Oh, there we have it. I have accepted, Naledi. I'll be baking you blondies and you will be giving me a review on your platform.
Yes.
Have a blessed week, everyone. Same time, same place, right here next week.
I'm Izelle Hoffman. Thanks for joining me as we journey towards mindful living. Find more at jacarandafm.com. Click on Jackpot.